Welcome back to Q-Dads. I'm Steve, and Gen V has finally arrived, giving us a slightly more tame version of the boys, but with more blood than anyone can ask for in an opening episode. There are two questions straight from the get-go. What the hell have I just watched? And was this as bad as people made it out to be? Firstly, I think for all those doubting the show and its capability of keeping up with the boys, can take some comfort that actually this wasn't that bad. Don't get me wrong, there were a few mediocre scenes, but actually the gore element was on par, if not better. We're going to be breaking down episode 1 today, with episodes 2 and 3 coming later on in the week. This episode, titled God You, sets the scene and premise for Gen V. A young orphan girl trying to follow her dream of becoming the first black woman in the Seven, whilst dealing with the politics and the secrets of the school. The episode starts with a flashback 8 years ago, when A-Train was first accepted into the Seven. Marie's parents watch when Marie starts to experience her first period. And out of nowhere, she kills her mom with some blood before exploding a pool of blood on the floor and then killing her dad. I did not expect to see this. This reminds me of the first scene of The Boys, when Huey lost his girlfriend to A-Train. The unexpected deaths here, I think, set the tone of the show and prove that it does have what it takes to compete with The Boys. We then jump to the present day as she tests out her powers, showing us that she actually has to cut herself to control her blood, not being able to directly pull it from her body. Now initially, my first thoughts are, can she actually kill herself by extracting too much blood? As the scene in the gym showed us a lot of blood, I question if she would still be able to stand after that. Or is she able to heal at an accelerated rate, seeing as I didn't see any scars on her body? It'll be interesting to see if she's able to force blood from her body through the pores of the skin by the end of the season. After getting accepted to Godolkin University, she meets with Emma, our tiny superhero. But before this, we get a funny moment where an invisible guy is talking about sexual boundaries whilst actually having his parts exposed. A great bit of humour. They both head down to see Golden Boy and his fiery manhood. There's a lot of dicks in this, and no, that's not a metaphor. Golden Boy fights another student before ripping off his arms, only to be reconnected later on. Marie then gets some bad news about being rejected into intro for crime fighting, meaning she can't do crime fighting and won't ever stand a chance to compete for the Seven. We then see our Soup from the trailer tweaking on meth and making him go mad. He shouts about not wanting to go back to the woods, which we then later see is a facility that holds Soups against their will. Presumably the big secret of the show, who is running the facility? Is it Vought? Or is it a private company? How much involvement does Dean Shetty have in this? Golden Boy is told he's going to be in the Seven, but doesn't have a happy look about it. He obviously doesn't want the burden of becoming a member. Or is it more something to do with his brother, who we keep seeing in his wood hallucination? As the group head out and party, Marie and Golden Boy share a moment about family and lying about the right things to the right people. We quickly cut to Emma, where we find out she has to be sick in order to shrink down. How will she use this in a life or death situation? And will she be able to control this in a different way later in the series? She then has an unusual and slightly comedic moment of her riding a man's... well, you saw the scene. She seems like a troubled character, unhappy in her current circumstance. At the moment, she's the one Ben is most interested in. Back in the club, Andre makes a small metal bird from a coin, a party trick to impress a girl, but a trick that goes horribly wrong and ends up almost killing a girl. That is until Marie steps in and saves the day. Now we see Marie push the blood back into the woman's body. However, the bleeding then stops. Is Marie therefore able to make the blood become solid or coagulate? Hence, she basically made the woman's arteries scab over and start to heal. This does make me think at some point, maybe she'll be able to make handheld weapons out of blood. She's seen as a hero now, doing what is right, which is rare for a Soup. She's invited to Brink's office, and we get the strange news that she's been expelled, in a way to protect Golden Boy and the others. She freaks out, and after a moment of not letting her dreams escape, she heads to confront Brink. Unfortunately, a paranoid Luke has beat her to it and actually kills Brink. Now I'm surprised he was killed off so early. I expected him to be a recurring character, like Ashley, always being there to meddle in the Soup's lives. After this, Golden Boy chases Marie, but ends up fighting Jordan, our gender-swapping hero. In our final moments of the show, Golden Boy says something to Andre, which may be a game changer, before taking to the sky and killing himself. Now overall, the show wasn't as bad as I thought. More blood and deaths than I expected, but a slightly less intriguing story than The Boys, and I'm not sure if that's because we already have an established universe. With the boys we had the mystery of who has powers and what was Compound V, but now we know all about this, which takes away a bit of the appeal from the show. But that didn't mean it was bad. There was a few unrealistic scenes in this, and yes, I'm aware I'm talking about a superhero show, but there was this one scene where Brink shoots Jordan, which I felt was just a way of showing us their powers. It seemed forced, lazy almost. It was like the writers just said, oh, here's our gender swapping hero, and look, they can't die. This is later backed up during the fight with Luke, aka Golden Boy. It appears as though Jordan can only attack when they're in female form, and their male form seems to have incredible defence, if not indestructible. Now, following the fact the powers are split, does their personality change with each form too? The story itself was okay. On one hand, we have an uprising Soup who craves to be in the Seven, but at the same time won't be afraid to show the world she's not a monster. And do Vought really want another Starlight? And on the other side, we have a mystery about the facility and who is being experimented on there. The introduction of characters and powers isn't that bad. Again, Marie's like Starlight. Her power doesn't seem to be that interesting, but actually has a lot of potential. She could potentially kill people where they stand. Emma seems to intrigue me as she hides behind this facade, keeping her true thoughts to herself. We saw so many deaths in the first episode, including Golden Boy. Now, it seemed that the trailer was basically the first episode, but I did not expect Golden Boy to be killed off straight away. I suppose it opens the door to a new Seven member, considering Golden Boy was just accepted. Finally, we're shown Marie's sister quite a few times, and she did say she was given V by her parents as a baby. This leads me to believe her sister will also be a Soup, as Marie's powers didn't show till puberty. Could her sister have followed suit? I wonder if, like the boys, we're going to get some kind of family showdown with sister versus sister. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Did it live up to your expectations? And who is your favourite hero so far? Me and Ben will be dropping our episode 2 and 3 breakdown later in the week, and we will also be doing a weekly cast on the show, discussing where we see it heading. If you enjoyed our breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it helps us to grow. And as always, catch you next time with something new.